Welcome back to Sailing Northern Breeze. In this episode, we're taking the second leg of the Viking Route, heading out from Greenland to Iceland. This is a 722-mile journey, 79 of which was from Nanortalik to the exit of Prince Christiansund. And now we have 643 miles of open ocean to cross, with this area named the Denmark Strait or the Greenland Strait. This slide shows the track of the Northern Breeze and our buddy boats. The Breeze's route is indicated by the green arrows, the first one at Nanortalik, and then within the pack, we're crossing the strait, and then finally, the last green arrow landing in Reykjavik, Iceland. Two of our buddy boats, the green track and the yellowish-orangish track, went up the east coast of Greenland a little bit, but encountered more ice than we were willing to experience, one even getting surrounded by the pack ice. They did get to see a polar bear, for which we're very jealous, but we weren't willing to go into that sort of ice. In our last video, we showed you this ice chart from the Danish service for the week that we left Greenland. It shows the icebergs as white or black triangles, and the bergy bits as smaller truncated triangles. The black signifies larger bergs and many more of them, while the white shows a lower concentration of smaller icebergs. Our path is drawn in purple, and this shows that we'll have to travel through bergy waters for the first 50 or so nautical miles when we leave the Greenland coast, so we'll need to be very vigilant this night. And the Greenland current will continue to carry both bergs and pack ice south to block our route. So while the weather is clear, the visibility is good, and the ice is less dense, we took the opportunity to make a run for it. We're off to Iceland. We left Greenland's abandoned weather station area around 7 p.m., making the decision to follow our buddy boats for the crossing instead of spending the night at the abandoned weather station at the exit of Prince Christiansund. Our rationale was that it was better to travel with other boats than to wait a day, setting off the following morning alone, with unknown visibility and unknown ice conditions tomorrow. So we left that abandoned weather station area and we set sail, and we settled into our offshore routine again. Dinner that evening, then our sleep and watch schedule for a 4-day passage. We're close to the Arctic Circle, so we're close to having 24 hours of daylight, but not quite yet. And we saw our last iceberg on the horizon just before midnight. Clear sailing from here to Iceland, 600 miles to go. On my morning watch, I was lucky to have a visitor, a fin whale. Sorry that Marie missed this show, but it was her turn to take a nap. It's a little difficult to see, but you can catch sight of a few blows on the horizon, near the lines and the end of the pole. 2 or 3. So this was how much of our crossing looked. The winds were steady behind us, the seas were fairly calm, and we had mostly cloudy skies. The fog that we had experienced on the first leg did not plague us out here. The voyage was calm and uneventful. However, it was a little slow. The boats who started that prior day's passage ahead of us in the Sund got offshore about 6 hours ahead of us. They had more wind, so they pulled away from us. The wind died out somewhat behind them, so we went slower, around 6 knots motor sailing to their 7+ knots. But this is peaceful, and it's a welcome change from the cold, foggy, bouncy sail of that earlier crossing from Newfoundland. Oh, and the temperature. It rose. The seawater went from 3 degrees to 10 degrees on this passage, and we consistently had double-digit air temperatures. Very pleasant. It was nice to drop a few layers of clothes and enjoy. Calm sailing, eating meals on a boat that wasn't tossing about, and more comfortable sleeping with calmer seas and warmer temps. About halfway across the passage to Iceland, their Coast Guard visited us in an airplane. They called us over the radio using our call sign, which they could pick up from our AIS, and they gave us a wellness check, just making sure everything was okay. We said hello and that all was good. It was comforting to see that patrol airplane in the sky. Glad we didn't need them, but good to know they were there. And then sunset on the 19th of July, and the sunrise on the 20th was magnificent. I'm sorry I didn't see this. This was Marie's watch, so she got these on her phone, these shots. And then on the 21st, I see Iceland. I wake Marie early from her rest to get to see it too. We're at the location of the Red Star around 6 a.m., so it is still a long way to Reykjavik, and we won't be on a dock until midday, but we can finally see the land after 4 days offshore.
Hello, Iceland, July 21st. About 10 a.m. local time, cold, gray, rainy day, but an unbelievable experience. I didn't think we'd ever make it. I don't know what else we would have done since we started, but disappointment we did make it, and it's glorious. We have about 23 miles left to go to get to sail club, and sleep. Can't wait.
A few dolphins welcomed us, following us around the peninsula. The birds are also in greater numbers again. Well, we saw quite a few birds on the passage, flying, fishing, and sleeping on the water, but there are many more here. And as we sailed eastward along the coast, we were anxious to get on shore, but still had 20 plus miles to go to Reykjavik. To occupy us, the whales, dolphins, and seabirds put on a continuous show for about 4 hours. That show must be constant, as we saw several whale-watching excursion boats as we came in. These creatures are stars, with folks flying from all over to see their show. How lucky we are to see it firsthand from the deck of our own boat. I'm humbled once again by this voyage. And the mountains, as we arrive, still have some snow. We finally start to see Reykjavik, spotting a volcano and the church tower downtown. Approaching the harbor entrance requires passing a rocky shoal and a barely visible island, so extended our journey a little longer. Here's that small island and its rocky outcrops. Once we round this point, we can finally see the harbor. The cruise ships go into a different industrial facility on the edge of town, but our berth is in the main harbor, right in the center of the city, with many smaller working boats and pleasure craft. On the port side, as we go in, across the bay, we see the nature of Iceland. Green mountains, with a little snow still here in late July. And then the Reykjavik skyline, and finally the harbor, and the Opera House, which marks our entrance. It's a beautiful blue building with colorful confetti-like splashes on it. In this picture you can see the main pier, which protects the Brokey Yacht Club pontoons. On the first pontoon we see our buddy boat, who arrived the prior day, the Misty Moor. She looks small in front of the 60-foot Vapen von Bremen, the German sailing club's boat that they use for Greenland expeditions of their own. We spent about a week here in Reykjavik, and the Vapen von Bremen changed crews and planned to go to Greenland, but they never had a weather window to go. They had to return to Germany and missed out the opportunity this season. They'll try again next year. We're lucky that we got to Greenland. And finally, from the Opera House deck, here we are, docked in Reykjavik. So we'll see you again soon in our next video, when we'll share our journey around the north coast of Iceland, crossing the Arctic Circle. See you soon.
Go find me a Diet Coke. I said maybe we'll go out to dinner tonight. It's Thursday, things shouldn't be real busy. I wonder what those are. See those flats like?
We'll have a nap in that cold bedroom. Yeah, turn on the heater.
When I go downstairs, I'll turn on the heater.
Well, it'll be warm. It'll be cold.
I'm hot right now. Looks like they have some cool architecture. Like, see this building just to the left of the last oil
all the color slashes. It looks
like confetti on it.
like Taya's spinnaker.
And then the white buildings are pretty classic, like Swiss type. And then real modern. And then the brownish ones on the left side of the black piles are Swiss type as well. Swiss German. Thank you, Poseidon. I'll get some more M&Ms. Haven't seen anything damaged, with the exception of that flag line where that one shackle has got sharp edges. It's a stupid shackle. Who would design one like that? It's like a pressed
Steel, yeah.
instead of cast, you know? And so many of them are just rounded, like
Yeah.
they're a round shaft. Well, they're not bent, but you know what I mean.
Big wire.
Didn't see any big chafing on the sheets this time.
Guess we're not going to go past that expressway.
I'm guessing that's a good guess.
Not sure how we get in there. Maybe the confetti building is where we're going to. There's some maps in front of the confetti building, maybe.
I see
Sailboat
a
over there coming out
I see a stick.
in front of the confetti building.
Yeah,
See the boat coming out? Sailboat coming out?
I do see the sailboat. Yeah, maybe it is over there. Instead of the one right dead in
Yeah,
front
we
of
got
us.
to turn right. Oh, there's 100 AIS in there.
Sorry, there
There's
are.
100 AIS in by the confetti building.
Yeah, I like their architecture. I like the varied architecture. Like New York. And Toronto.
Well, Toronto's all glass and steel on the waterfront now.
Yeah, but you don't have to go very far to get into the older buildings.
Yeah.
Chicago's not good anymore. They've tore down almost everything except the Wrigley building, and there's only a couple right there on the river. Detroit still has some cool old buildings.
Yep.
Yeah, just what?
On this last month, I don't know how many times you said, you too should spend this time with me in a 42-foot boat. Like you weren't enjoying every second of it.
Did you enjoy every second of it?
Absolutely.
You're full of shit.
And the only thing I can't get enough of is what's next. It's not things to own.
No, that's my problem too. Is that I get bored.
Yeah.
I get bored,
Yeah.
and it's a sickness.
Is that a hop-on, hop-off bus just going behind that rock wall there?
Seriously?
Looks like a double-decker red bus.
I see it. That big red thing in
Just-
front of that
No, it just disappeared behind the rock wall.
rock wall. Is that all a rock wall?
On the right. It's over by the confetti
Oh, over
building now.
here.
Yeah, it's probably in by the confetti building now. That sailboat going. I don't want to hit him.
It's right there. He just turned. He's just playing.
Well, the double deckers would be taller typically.
You see that sailboat, yeah?
Yeah.
I'm guessing those yellow things mark the marina. This whole thing is the harbor, and so what he was saying is if there's not a slip in the harbor, you can tie off in the marina. Or, sorry, if there's not a slip in the marina, you can tie off in the harbor.
Okay.
But when you tie off in the harbor, I think you're on piers. I don't think you're on... Well, there's a
Ship in there.
good-sized bit. Huh?
There's a ship in there.
Bit. It's a military ship, too.
Yeah. I suppose the island nation would have a couple of military boats.
I don't know why. Whose military do they align with? Denmark?
Probably.
Because they're an independent nation, right? Have been
Yeah.
since 1944.
They're pretty tight with Europe, I'm sure. And this was all strategic stuff in the Second World War, right? To keep the North Atlantic safe.
Yeah. Yeah, this is where I told you is the big submarine center. Remember, that's not here in Reykjavik, though. It's down there in Keflavik. Keflavik, whatever.
We're wrapped off on a military ship.
Yeah. Although that was pretty nice being behind that big ship in Anatolia. It was quiet.
Yeah.
Just a bitch to
They
get
built
over.
a joke, right?